Hey there guys, Matt Dawson here, coming at you with another live, from the Inspire Music School online Facebook group. Today we're going to be going over 5 tips that are going to help you learn and master the guitar faster. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to those of you that are going to be watching this live with me here. Remember to ask your questions about anything guitar related as we go along. For those of you that are watching this back on the replay, thank you so much for checking this out on the replay. It really means a lot, and make sure you leave your comments and your thoughts in the comment section below. For those of you that are watching this back on the replay on other platforms, be it in other Facebook groups or on YouTube or anything like that, make sure you're going to the link above and just make sure you are clicking that link and joining the group and getting your questions answered in real time. We take your questions and we answer them in real time, and you can join us live to discuss them further, or you've got an instant video that you can look back and get the answers to your guitar questions. Okay, so we are talking learning and mastering the guitar. 5 tips to learn and master the guitar. Now these are going to be a bit kind of out there and a bit different from what you might be expecting. You might be expecting me to say things like, you know, use a metronome or, you know, things like that. And yes, although those things are really good and we need to make sure that we're doing them, there are a few things that we can kind of just take into consideration. And these are things that I think a lot of people overlook on their guitar learning journey. So let me get stuck in with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is being realistic with the timescales. Now let's say, for example, you are a beginner guitar player that's just starting out, and you're thinking, okay, well, at the moment I'm not very good at the guitar. When am I going to get good? There's a few different factors that kind of build into this, and there's a few things that we have to kind of obviously address, things like practice, and, you know, are you actually working at it? And if you're not, you might want to, and, you know, if you are, great, carry on doing it. But, you know, you want to think, okay, well, how long is it going to take for me to become like an all-right guitar player, what I call the all-right guitar player? And that's basically like if you've got someone that comes around your house and they kind of see that you've got a guitar there, and maybe they didn't know that you were learning the guitar, and they go, oh, can you actually play your guitar? You go, yeah, I'm all-right. I'm an all-right guitar player. I can kind of pick up my guitar, I can play a few chords, I can strum a few songs here and there. I'm all-right. And that will take around about 1 year. So that being said, if you're not great in the first 2 weeks, don't beat yourself up. I've got a few students at the moment, we've had this conversation a few times, whereby they've said, you know, I'm quite a perfectionist and I want to be good at something and I want to be good at it immediately. And guitar just doesn't work that way. Learning the guitar is really a test of, it's really a test of your commitment and your patience, and it's going to really take you through a lot of, I guess you would say, emotional highs and lows at times, because there are times where you just want to chuck the guitar out the window. But that being said, make sure that you are being realistic with your time frames. You're not going to be great at the guitar in the first 5 minutes. It's going to take a bit of time. It's going to sound a bit awful for some time, but don't worry about it. The more work you put in, the better you're going to get at it. Okay, start with the basics. This is tip number 2. Start with the basics. Tip number 2, start with the basics. Okay, now, this is where a lot of people get the learning process wrong. That because nowadays we've got the ability to learn whatever we want, however we want, wherever we want, whenever we want. We can just kind of go on, we could be sitting in bed and we can go, I'm going to look up how to do, or, you know, how to put up shelves or whatever. And you can go onto YouTube and there will be, you know, tutorials on how to put shelves up. Or I'm going to learn how to make this particular dish, and you can, you know, be in your living room, and just the thought comes to your head and you can go, right, I'm going to just research this and I'm going to watch a video on it and learn how to make this particular dish. With the guitar, you can do exactly the same. But that being said, there's so much information out there, it's hard to know where to start and where to not start. When I was first learning the guitar, you had no YouTube. You had to sit down and you had to kind of sit there and think, right, I'm going to learn beginner guitar, and you might buy a guitar that came with a little book or something like that, and it would have the basics in it. The reason why we call it the basics is because it's the foundational knowledge that you need to actually be able to play the guitar. If you don't have that foundational knowledge, it might be the, you know, understanding a few basic chord principles, or it might be you know, understanding how to tune your own instrument or how to pick the strings or whatever it might be. You're going to really struggle to then get onto the next bits whereby there might be more interesting things going on. So when it comes to learning the guitar, and you know, if you were, say if your favourite song was, I don't know, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, you might sit there and you think, okay, well, I want to learn Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. I can do that. I can just type in how to play Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana and just get stuck into it. Whereas when I was younger, when I was learning to play the guitar, you had to basically wait for your guitar teacher to kind of give you the nod and say, you know what, yes, your skill set is developed enough that you can actually sit there and you'll be able to master this. You can understand the chord concepts, and you'll actually be able to take this forward now and actually learn the song properly. You're kind of your own boss when it comes to learning the guitar nowadays. So, you know, the basics don't always feel like the most interesting. I'd say interesting, the most interesting thing to do sometimes, but it's definitely something that you need to do, because if you don't do that, you're going to really, really struggle when it comes to learning the stuff that you really, really want to learn, whether it be solos or, you know, killer riffs or whatever it might be, or even writing your own songs. You know, these are all things that are going to come from that really strong foundation. Okay, number three, tip number three to help you learn and master the guitar. And this kind of goes without saying, but it's something that I guess some people don't believe in it, and some people prefer not to talk about it and be honest about it, but that's practice. Okay, so we've spoken about practice in other videos. There's tons of videos out there in the group and on YouTube about guitar practice, and guitar practice is what you're doing behind the scenes to actually develop your skill set. It's really, really important. For those of you that you know, have had bad days on guitar practice, you know, hit that like button, let me know, because we've all been there and we've all struggled to practice the guitar. Now, we've spoken before about the optimal way to practice the guitar, and a lot of people think, okay, well, if I practice loads in one day, and you know, I've got 1 day a week, I do practice on a Wednesday, that's definitely going to be something that that I'm going to really benefit from. And it's not. You don't want to practice just in one big block. You want to space out. It's better to do little blocks spaced out throughout the week, because they all add up, and you're attacking something, you know, with the maximum amount of momentum that you can. You can't sit there and drill the same scale for 5 hours straight. However, you can sit there with a few other exercises rolled in there. You can successfully hit the same scale every single day, or several times in one day, for say 15 to 20 minutes, you know, half an hour tops. You can sit there and drill something round and round and round for that amount of time. And if you did that consecutively for a whole week, you'd definitely see a lot of progress. So when it comes to practice, we need to be thinking about, okay, being realistic about our practice, and when and how long should we be practicing for. Being intentional, going, I'm going to practice here. This is going to be my guitar practice time, whether it be when I come in from work or school or uni or whatever it might be, or you know, after my evening meal, or, you know, if you are lucky enough to work from home, it might be, you know, I'm going to take a little break in my afternoon or in my morning to sit down and do half an hour guitar practice. You know, just being really intentional about it and sitting there and thinking, that's what I'm actually going to do. Yeah, really, really, really important one, guys. Okay, number 4 is consider getting an actual teacher, spending some money. Yeah. An actual teacher is something, you know, the fact that I'm still teaching guitar to physical people that come and see me means that there still is a call for it. And with the progression in modern technology, there's been loads of progress just in terms of, you know, how we receive information, how information is given to us, the different formats that you can see information delivered, whether it be in PDF, in video, in audio. You know, Amazon have just recently released, or I say recently, it's not exactly recent, but they are releasing and pioneering a new kind of voice skill-based thing called Alexa Skills, where it's basically, you know, learning through daily kind of almost like news updates. So the concept of learning something is very different from when we were younger. And when I say younger, is if you were old enough to really remember learning anything, or kind of being in the educational system before like the invention of YouTube, and before we were Googling everything under the sun, which I can actually remember. I remember the days of Ask Jeeves. If you can remember Ask Jeeves, let me know. Ask Jeeves was total waste of time for some things, but you know, you used to ask Jeeves, and that was your go-to search engine for a while, or at least it was for me, until kind of everyone clocked on that Google was brilliant. So yeah, consider getting an actual teacher. I digress, but consider getting an actual teacher, because an actual teacher is able to see your progress. A YouTube video can't. A YouTube video cannot see your progress. I cannot see your progress. Unless I'm obviously a teacher, unless I'm one of the people in the group that I actually teach personally, I cannot see your progress. So it's really, really important that you consider getting that one-to-one in-person feedback. That will mean that you'll need to pay somebody, but you get what you pay for. If you're going through only looking for free channels to learn, you will get results that reflect those efforts. So if you're only going to learn from YouTube, if you're making bad technique decisions, you're not going to be able to have anyone there to rectify that, because the YouTube channel or the YouTube video can't see you. You're only the person watching that video. And same even with things like Skype and things like that. They're good at certain points and for certain things, but for a regular lesson, it's worth going on Google or going into your local directory or going around asking on Facebook for a guitar teacher in your area that's reputable, that can teach you and give you that honest feedback. And if he's a half a decent teacher that knows his stuff, he will have an extensive student base already, because people always are looking for that extra feedback to get on their playing to help them learn, because you can't get that. That's the only thing I think that Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all the ways that we can currently learn guitar and guitar licks and songs from, that's the bridge that they're yet to kind of make, and kind of the gap is yet to be kind of filled on that one, because as soon as they've worked out a way to have a decent, almost like a conference call system with a decent lens, where the audio is always good and the signal is good and the detail is good and the camera works fine and there is no connection issues and things like that, physical guitar teachers will always have a job, and the great ones will be the ones that will be able to really do well once that technology does catch up. Okay, so the last thing, this is tip number 5. Let me just recap on the tips that we've gone over so far. So the first one was being realistic with the timescales. The second one was starting with the basics, so making sure that you're not jumping in trying to learn just anything. Start with the really basic principles of learning the guitar. Number 3 is practice. Kind of goes without saying. Number 4 is consider getting an actual teacher, spending that money, paying someone to actually teach you the guitar, not just having your friend kind of show you a little thing here or there, or just relying solely on YouTube videos. You want to make sure you're actually paying for a guitar teacher if you are getting to that point that you feel that you need it. And the last thing is enjoy the journey. And this is something that a lot of people, I would say, overlook. And you might be saying, well, how does any of this really help me master the guitar practically? And it does, it really does. And enjoying the journey is just as important as, great technique when it comes to learning the guitar and mastering it. You, as human beings, we double down on the stuff that we're good at and the stuff that we enjoy. If you have a favourite food, you will tend to eat that food quite a bit. If you have a favourite show on Netflix, you will watch a lot of it. And you're pining for the new series when it comes out. You're going to lean in more on the stuff that you do enjoy rather than the stuff that you don't. For those of you that are self-employed here in the UK, if you've ever tried to fill out a self-assessment tax form, it's brutal and we hate doing it. That's why so many people leave it to the last minute for tax deadline, because nobody likes doing it. Nobody wants to do it. And so not a lot of people aren't very good at doing it. This is why we hire accountants. But if you think about, if you enjoy playing the guitar and you have a realistic head on about what it is that you're actually doing, and you're going, you know what, I'm going to be learning the guitar and I cannot wait until I can play such and such a song. It might be you want to learn to play something for a special occasion. Like I've met a lot of people that are going, I want to learn to play at my brother's wedding, or I want to be able to play my wife's favourite song on our 50th anniversary, or whatever it might be. Think about that. Some people have got a goal in mind, but even if you're working towards a goal, enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of learning. Everything that you learn is something that you didn't know before. So even if you're not seeing these massive like leaps and bounds of progress in your guitar playing, you're learning something new. And I say this to students that come to me and they're like, I don't feel like I kind of did anything this lesson that was new or that I learned anything or actually progressed. And it's like, trust me, you will have, because if you were to think back over your lesson, name one thing that you didn't know at the start of your lesson that you do know now, there will at least be something, and that's something that's cladding into your bank of knowledge that you've got on the guitar. So don't take it so seriously. This is my job. This is how I earn my living now. I'm one of the people that are lucky enough to earn a living teaching the guitar and playing the guitar for people. And it's been through a lot of hard work and a lot of learning how to actually teach people and communicate with students. But at the same time, learning the guitar was just learning the guitar. Before I even was like studying it, it was just like, you know, I like playing the guitar. It's what I enjoy doing. It was that and PlayStation when I was a kid. So, you know, it was a constructive use of my time. So before it was a career, or before it was, you know, anything more than just a hobby, before it was anything, it was just me enjoying playing at home. So let's just recap. So tip number 1 is being realistic with the timescales, not expecting to be great straight away. Number 2 is going to be starting with the basics. So making sure that you're able to actually grasp the basic foundational things of playing the guitar before you're trying to tackle like Sweet Child of Mine solo or Eruption by Van Halen or whatever it is. Number 3 is practice, making sure that you're putting in the work behind closed doors to actually get those results that you want to see. Number 4 is considering getting an actual teacher, so actually spending a bit of money and investing in your own playing if you can. You know, that's where you're actually going to be able to get that real-time feedback, and you know, teachers can help you as you go along, whereas YouTube videos can't do that. And the last thing is enjoying the journey, making sure that you're not taking it all too seriously, and you're looking at your learning process with a bit of optimism, as opposed to thinking, I'm so awful, why can't I play the guitar like so-and-so just yet? So things to think about, and these are 5 things that I definitely feel will help you learn and master the guitar, because you know, if you can get those things in line, especially, you know, point 5, enjoying that learning process and enjoying the journey, you are going to be flying, because you've got the advantage over everybody else. It's almost like I need to get good now, because I know of somebody that learnt the guitar and this was a really easy song for them, so it needs to be an easy song for me. If you just think I don't care about what anybody else is doing on their guitar, I just want to be great at playing, and I know for me it might take me a year, it might take me 2 years, it might take me 6 months to play what it is I want to be able to play, but you know what, I'm just going to have fun doing it. That's the golden ticket right there. So think about that. I'm going to get off, guys. I'm going to head off home, because we've had a very long day of teaching in the studio today. But thank you so much for those of you that have watched this live. Thank you so much to those of you that are watching this back on the replay on various different platforms. Remember, if you are watching this back on the replay in any of the other Facebook groups or on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, click the link below and make sure you are joining the group and getting your questions answered in real time. And if you're watching this back on Facebook in any of the other groups, make sure you're going to the link above and clicking that link, making sure that you are joining that Facebook group likewise. Okay guys, wherever you are in the world, have a fantastic evening, day, morning, afternoon, whatever it is. Until next time guys, I'll see you later. Bye.